Oh my shit. Okay.
We love playing the confessional with versus washing our sheets. Cool, cool. All right, so Morgan, give us a walkthrough of what happened last round.
It was a lot. Walkthrough was, we were trying to like figure out who we wanted. We weren't really sure the involvement or engagement conversations with each other. So I feel like we definitely thought that they were playing a lot harder than they actually were on the other side that's not in the 5. And it was going to be Nick. Then we were thinking about Marvin, and then we were thinking about Gianna, and then I was getting messages that they were going to probably vote for Bruce, and not obviously, but I'm close with Bruce, so I did not like that, and so that was like raising red flags to me. And it was just like really the last hour, 50 minutes, even the last 10 minutes before I felt so like, oh my God, I need to go talk to this person. Like it was like scrambling, but for what? Like for what? It was so stressful for no reason.
Okay.
Yeah.
One thing that I'm intrigued, I want you to talk about is this conversation you had with Miss Chrisanne and then your conversation with Allie about an advantage. So take us through that.
Okay, so I feel like I trust Chrisanne, but I didn't know, like, I personally was not planning on talking about the advantage that I found for a long time, especially since it was like to the final 6 I could use it. I had no intentions of it. So when Chrisanne mentioned it to me, I was just like, oh, don't know about it. Like, we're keeping that like sealed, locked until the time is right. And then yeah. And then when they started saying Bruce, I was like, oh my gosh, it could be a 5v5 vote if Corey stays. And then I was like, that can't happen. We need to make it a 6v5. And the only way to do that is for an extra vote. But I had told Chrisanne that I didn't know about it. So I think it was like 8 to 10 minutes before Tribal, I hopped on a call with Allie. And I was just like, hey, I haven't had an opportunity to talk to you today. I found this morning. I need to give it to you. What do you think about using it? I just don't want to lose Bruce, like, da da da. And I thought it was a good play. She took it and was like, she felt like she took it and she decided to use it. It obviously was a wasted advantage, but I just think like we didn't know that Nick wasn't going to be there. We didn't know that Nick didn't pre-vote. So, and it seemed like we assumed a lot and they really weren't that involved as we thought the other side was, because I thought it was really going to be a 5v5 vote and the vote was just not cohesive at all over the place. But you doing that, I feel like my reactions were not genuine when the advantage was played and when the votes were coming out. So that way, like when I messaged Jazzy was like, yeah, I saw your reactions. And I was just like, I played that part up to make it seem like I was just as shocked as everybody else, which worked in my favor, I think. It's just crazy. I was not expecting to use it.
So moving forward, your folder has lost twice now. What is more important? Keeping Tribe strong as far as winning comps or your social bonds moving forward?
I think with the people that I'm working with, we're comfortable either way, winning or losing, because we have a plan either direction. So I think regardless, it's going to be just another day, and we're not going to really make or break anything, if that makes sense. Like there's pros for each if we win, and then there's pros if we lose. So I don't really think it'll make a difference because of the people that I'm working with.
Okay. Has there been any talks of a potential swap? And if so, is there a strategy behind that? What are you going to do if there is a swap?
Honestly, that is one thing that this tribe lacks in. And that's what I want to kind of talk. I'm going to talk with Bruce tonight because if we do win the challenge, we need to have a plan for him to go over there. Like, yes, we're sending an ally, but we're not really hey, this is the plan. Who's over on that tribe? What's your vibes with everybody? But there's also like, we need to talk about, hey, like, if we split up, like, this is the plan for that. I just hope if there is a swap, I'm just really hoping it's randomized and Tanner somehow happens to be on my thing, because I feel like if Tanner gets put with people that aren't from R5, I feel like he's an easy vote, and I feel like there's just bigger moves and better plays to be made than taking out an easy vote.
Okay. So once again, your folder has went to 2 recycling bins. You got to test out loyalties, find out who you can trust and who you can't trust. Has your trust list changed since then? And if so, what changed?
I don't think my trust level has changed. I think it's like the same amount of people, or like the same people in the same spots. I definitely think like with Gianna leaving, it helps me and Jazzy talk a little bit more, which can build that stronger. Corey is still like, I'm still gonna see like what he is. Bruce seems to be comfortable with Corey, so I'll take that into consideration. But Marvin, I'm still like, I just feel like people are telling me that they've talked to Marvin, and I'm just like, oh well, I'm on delivered, so don't know really, don't know how that is. So I wouldn't say that. And then Nick is just very absent, so I don't even want to say like it's sketch at this point. I just think it's just like not active or present.
All right. You were up till 4 in the morning trying to figure out what these numbers were. And you
Yes.
come to find out that in return, you got a good night's sleep. And the computer that you unlocked had season 1 stuff that doesn't need to be used in season 2.
Yeah.
What was going through your mind in that process of?
So the number is, I was like thinking, do we add them? Is it, then I tried like one of the Morse code, but then there was like patterns that they weren't in Morse code. And then I found that it was the other code. I gave it, and then I honestly am still super confused at the response, because I'm just like, season 1 files. Like, I don't know if that's like a clue for something. And I obviously know I can't be told, but I'm just like, is there more to the puzzle? It's just weird. I would think that somebody else has this advantage, and it could be anybody from any tribe, but I don't necessarily know. It's like, I don't know if I should keep digging or not.
So you've talked advantages with people. Has there been like, and I'd say, how do I word this correctly? Um, has there been a way where a plan, I mean, I guess it kind of happened where advantages has been spoken of and a plan has to be twisted or changed because of advantages potentially being played?
So, as of now, no. Other than the extra vote, which I think I played off very well. I got an ally to use it, and I'm still in a good spot with Chris Ann. And then I'm opening that. Okay, let me put my phone on freaking silent. Sorry. I think, and then it opens the door with Allie and Chris Ann, and I just need to like I think I'm overthinking it, so I'm trying not to. and try to make it the best and move forward. But using the advantage last night was the only time, and that was like that was like the last 10 minutes. I was like, wait, we have this. Should I use it? And I definitely opened that. So moving forward with advantages, I definitely feel like I need to communicate it to my closest allies so I don't like sprawn it on them and then have to go through that again, because I did feel like a lot of stress and anxiety that I like just threw it on Allie and was like, hey, you should use this. So moving forward, I'm probably going to change that, how I respond or how I deal with it.
Sorry, I'm trying to look for a certain message you sent in your pod chat that I wanted to speak upon.
Oh, you're good.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. Literally me trying to tell Allie like me saying that I found the clue this morning and I was like scrolling because it was stressful.
Okay, I don't know if it was. Okay. Okay, I can't find it, so it's okay. We'll move on.
Was it the coach thing?
No. So, going back to a swap scenario, is there anyone from the other tribe off of first impressions you feel like you would get along with and want to work with?
I actually don't think there is. Let me see. I just messaged Bruce all of the names. Susie, loved her video and love her energy. Alex is like questionable. Like I feel like he's a hard player. Like just like he seems very calculated. So I don't know if I would. It's like keep your enemies close. And then I don't really have an opinion on anybody else. Like they kind of. I'm very happy to be where I'm at with the people that I'm at, because I think those are the people from originally that I felt like I would vibe with. So I'm thankful, but maybe that's just because I was placed with them, so I started conversations with them first. But I'm definitely going to I'm going to keep doors open as far as like making multiple pathways, but not really confirming any like trust other than with the people that I have right now. That's how I feel. Oh.
Okay, I found the message I was looking for. So,
Okay.
you said leading to vote. Oh my God, is there a way I can like?
Yeah, literally, literally 6.
You had said leading the vote 2 tribals in a row. I need to take a backseat. Honestly, what do you mean by that?
I feel like Tanner, it was like so heavy on Tanner the first time, and I definitely worked on my relationships with the people that I'm with, and thankfully they have the same opinions on Tanner that I do. That like just because it is an easy vote doesn't mean it's like the right vote. And Tanner is very loyal if you like invest time in a relationship and just direct him. At least that's how I feel. So I just think that Tanner was not the right vote, and I was like trying to push Lawrence, and that like Lawrence's name more so. And I mean, I got Nick off. Nick was like talked about, but like I don't think that would have even. I don't think Nick would have gotten many votes. So I went with Lawrence. That was more realistic. And then Gianna, I feel like in my confessional, obviously I told y'all that she was like my one person that I kind of wanted to go. And they were so like, oh, Marvin. I don't think really Gianna was on anybody's choices besides Tanner. Tanner was like, I talked to her the least. But I just feel like I kind of pushed that. And maybe I'm taking too much ownership, but I definitely think that name, what Gianna's name, would not have been mentioned. I think it would have either been Nick or Tanner or Marvin if I didn't say, hey, like I talked with Gianna and she said that she's like really good with Nick and Marvin. So it was like kind of get the allies out. And that's what I felt like I need to like not be so. I feel like if I continue doing that and pushing the names, it's like going to be catched on soon by like Jazzy or somebody, which Jazzy doesn't know where I voted last night. So maybe I'm doing better than I think.
So, do you think, quote unquote, pushing votes is putting a target on your back or raising your threat level?
I definitely think I'm raising my threat level in my mind, but I don't know if I'm coming across as that way because the five that I'm with are we try. I mean, I'm definitely going to have more like talk less and let them speak more because I don't want to get to a potential merge if I do make it that far and they're like, "Oh, Morgan's the one who like leads the conversations or talks the most in the conversations." I want it to be like a group thing to where like I have a shield or like I'm not like just the head of the snake.
All right. So moving forward, we are now round 3 where the challenge has been posted, which is motherboard, or in this case, a telephone game. Has your tribe come to a strategy as far as like, do you want to win the challenge? Do you want to lose the challenge? What's the thoughts around that as far as dynamics of tribe unity?
So no, we have not made a plan. Let's start there. We don't know the order that we're going in. I think we just decided the time that we were going to do it at. I feel like engagement is like a huge opportunity within this tribe because I feel like that's what creates chaos, and it also like does not set us up for success. And I'm just sitting here like waiting for a plan, and I don't want to be the one to make the plan always, but I definitely think like having Bruce as a team captain and me being so close with Bruce that like for me in my game, whichever direction we go, I think we have a plan. So I'm not trying to stress out too much about it because either way I feel like we'll get through it. But would I like there to be a plan for tonight and some strategy? Yes. And hopefully in the next 5 hours we figure that out. Like
Okay. Um, is there anyone on your folder you see as a potential threat in the future of this game?
Jazzy. And if Nick starts engaging and being involved, I feel like he would be a threat. But right now he's not active, so I don't see that happening. But like Jazzy, I do feel like has like a lot of. I'm comfortable talking with her, but I do know that she's good at forming connections.
Okay. We do have a question from the VL from the person that's in this call with us. Are you excited or nervous for a swap situation?
I'm excited to see what happens. I'm nervous for who because that will switch things up. And I'm nervous that I've worked very hard for the connections that I have and that it could all be like tossed in the air. So that's the one thing I'm nervous about. But I'm excited to get like a little switch up and have the 5 that I'm with go and set us up even more in the future.
Can I ask another question?
Go for it.
Do you think that there are any idols? Like, do you think that, like, what do you think the idol situation is? Do you think that there's just like one out there between both tribes? Do you think there's just one on each tribe? Do you think it's found?
So, okay, so with the guesses of the immunity idol, I'm not sure how many there are. And that's why I don't know if the guess that I made today with the, not the Morse code, the other code, I don't know if that was an idol. I don't know if both tribes, the immunity guesses that we made, I would assume that each tribe has the opportunity to get it. I did guess it with Allie, and the box was empty. So somebody on this tribe has it, or they've been voted out with it, which I guess that wouldn't have been Gianna, and I don't think Lawrence guessed it as quickly. So somebody on my tribe definitely has it. And
Any ideas of who?
Yeah, and I don't think it's anybody I know because I worked with Allie to get it. And then I worked with, well, I didn't work with, Bruce was asking me about my guesses. And I think we talked about how somebody has it. So I definitely think it's either Jazzy, Marvin, and I don't even think it's Nick because Nick hasn't been that active every day to make guesses, but who knows? It's definitely not on my side, that's for sure, which is nervous.
So let's say your folder goes back once again to the recycling bin. Who is in your line of sight to vote out?
I think from conversations with everyone on the tribe, we're kind of just like with Nick's participation and engagement, which is not his fault. I don't necessarily think like personal life does come into play, but I just think moving forward, we're forming connections and relationships, and Nick's absenceness has like delayed that. So I think as like a group, we're kind of like on the same page with that. And so that's what direction I think we would go.
Okay. So you voted Bruce as your captain for this round. And let's say your folder does win immunity. What do you think Bruce is going to do? You know the twist.
Yeah. So Bruce is going to come back. I know that. And then at some point today, hopefully we can go over who's on the other tribe and kind of who he wants to create a conversation with, what information he wants to try to gauge and get from people. I know we'll discuss that later, but I definitely know that he's going to come back. And if he stays, I'm going to be pissed.
All right. So obviously everyone on your tribe, including the people who came from the other tribe who decided to stay, know what the twist is.
Yeah.
How does that impact your game as a whole?
Like, in the sense of, like, just knowing, like, making decisions based off that. Like, so, like, Bruce going over there, like, if there's somebody that I want to work with in the future, I'm gonna, like, talk with Bruce to make a plan to not necessarily give those people that we want to work with the necklace, because that would raise like awareness and like a red flag to just like throw it off and do something probably not expected, unless the people that we both see comfortability with, we want to work with, and they're in danger. I think it impacts the game like that, because we can kind of make a plan of like who to talk to if this happens. this is who you'll give it to, etc., etc.
Okay. All right. Well, that's all the questions I have for you. I don't know if Jess came up with last minute questions, but I'll give her the time to ask more questions if she has any.
I don't have any questions. I'm just so proud of you.
Love you.
I just wonder if now that you have used that advantage, if that means something else was put out there.
Yeah, I wonder too, Jess. I'm looking. I think
Well, with that being said, before I end the recording, is there any last minute things you would like to add on?
I've learned my lesson, and I will definitely try to cool down a little bit and not be so stressed. That's everything.
Okay.